She woke up covered in mud, in the middle of a Korean forest she'd never seen before, 2,000 miles from her apartment in Chicago. And she had absolutely no idea how she got there. Her hands were scraped, her clothes torn, and when she tried to stand, her legs buckled beneath her like she'd been running for hours. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the old woman kneeling in front of her, forehead pressed to the ground, whispering words in Korean that sounded like prayers, like she'd been waiting for her, like she'd been expected. Her name was Naya Thompson, 26 years old, data analyst at a tech firm in downtown Chicago, practical, logical, the kind of person who color-coded her calendar and never missed a deadline. She didn't believe in fate, she didn't believe in destiny, and she definitely didn't believe in spirits. But none of that mattered anymore, because 3 days ago her life had been completely normal, and now she was waking up in a foreign country with no memory of how she'd gotten there. Let me take you back to when it all started. 72 hours earlier. Nia was sitting in her apartment at 2 a.m, scrolling through data reports on her laptop. Coffee cold, eyes burning. Just another late night trying to meet a deadline. That's when her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, international Korean country code. The door is open. She stared at it for a moment, then deleted it. Spam. Had to be. 5 minutes later, another one. Come home. She blocked the number. 10 minutes after that, her phone buzzed again. Different number, same country code. He's waiting? A chill ran down her spine. She turned off her phone and tried to focus on work, but she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. The next night, it happened again. More texts. Different numbers. Always the same messages. The door is open. Come home. He's waiting? She reported it to her phone carrier, changed her number. It didn't matter. The texts kept coming. And then the dreams started. The first one came on the third night. She was standing in a forest. Moonlight filtered through the trees. Everything was silent except for the sound of water rushing somewhere in the distance. And then she saw him. A man dressed in white, standing at the edge of a clearing. His face was blurred, like her mind couldn't quite focus on his features. But his presence was overwhelming, ancient, powerful. He didn't speak. He just looked at her. And somehow she knew he'd been looking for her for a very long time. She woke up gasping, heart pounding so hard she thought it might break through her ribs. It was just a dream. Just stress. Too much coffee. Not enough sleep. But the next night, the dream came back. Same forest. Same man. Except this time, he was closer. And this time, he spoke. Why do you keep running from me? His voice wasn't angry. It was sad, heartbroken. She tried to answer, but no words came out. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe. And then she woke up. By the 5th night, Nia was afraid to sleep. She started drinking energy drinks to stay awake, set alarms every 20 minutes, anything to avoid the dreams. But exhaustion always wins. On the 6th night, she passed out at her desk, and when she woke up, she wasn't in her apartment anymore. She was standing in the hallway, in her pajamas. The front door of her building was wide open behind her. Her neighbor, Mr. Chen, was staring at her from his doorway, concern written all over his face. Nia, are you okay? I saw you walk out about an hour ago. You looked strange. She had no memory of it. None. Mr. Chen showed her his security camera footage. There she was, walking out of the building at 3:07 a.m., eyes open. but her expression was blank, empty, like she was being pulled by invisible strings. She watched herself walk down the street and disappear around the corner. Nia felt sick. "Where did I go?" she whispered. "I don't know," Mr. Chen said quietly, "but you came back about 40 minutes later. Same expression. You walked straight to your apartment like nothing happened." That's when Nia checked her phone. There were photos in her gallery that she didn't take. Dozens of them. Blurry images of a stone shrine covered in red ribbons, a forest path illuminated by moonlight, symbols carved into ancient wood, and one photo that made her blood run cold. A man in white, standing in the distance, his face still blurred, but his eyes were looking directly at the camera, directly at her. She scrolled further, found something even worse. An email confirmation, a plane ticket to Seoul, South Korea, first class, departing in 2 days, purchased with her credit card. She hadn't bought it. She didn't even have a passport. Except when she opened her desk drawer, there it was, her passport, recently renewed. She didn't remember doing that either. Nia's hands were shaking so badly she could barely hold her phone. She called her bank, tried to cancel the charge. They told her the purchase had been flagged as suspicious, but when they called to confirm, someone had answered and verified it was legitimate. Someone with her voice. "That wasn't me," Nia said, her voice breaking. "I didn't make that call." "According to our records, Mom, you did." She hung up, stared at the ticket confirmation, departing in 2 days. She wasn't going. Obviously, this was insane. She'd go to the police, report identity theft, get this sorted out. But that night, she had the dream again. Except this time, she wasn't in the forest. She was standing in front of the shrine from the photos. And the man in white was right there, close enough to touch. His face was finally clear. He was beautiful, ethereal, sharp cheekbones, dark eyes that looked like they held centuries of sorrow. His white handbook seemed to glow in the moonlight. "Please," he whispered, "stop fighting this." "I don't know you," she said. "Yes, you do." His voice cracked. "You've always known me?" He reached out, and she saw it. A scar on his palm, shaped like a crescent moon. She looked down at her own hand. The same scar, the same place. She'd had it since she was a child. Her mother always said it was a birthmark. But now, standing in this dream, it was burning. 3 days, he said. You have 3 days, and then the choice will be made for you. She woke up screaming. The next morning, Nia made a decision. She wasn't getting on that plane. She was going to stay in her apartment, lock the doors, and wait for this nightmare to end. But when she woke up the following day, she wasn't in her apartment. She was on a plane, somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. She was in seat 3A, first class, exactly as the ticket had said. She had no memory of going to the airport, no memory of boarding, no memory of takeoff. But here she was, 30,000 feet in the air, wearing clothes she didn't remember putting on. The flight attendant smiled at her. "Can I get you anything, Miss Thompson?" Nia tried to speak, but her throat was too tight. This couldn't be real. This had to be a dream, a hallucination. But when the plane landed in Seoul 12 hours later, she was still there, still awake, still terrified. She went through customs in a daze. Her passport was stamped. Her bags were waiting at the baggage claim. Bags she didn't remember packing. And when she walked out of the airport, there was a driver holding a sign with her name on it. "Ms. Thompson, I take you to Jirisan." "I didn't order a car," she said. The driver just smiled. Already paid for? She should have run, should have gone to the embassy. But something inside her, something she couldn't explain, made her get in that car. The drive took 3 hours. They left the city behind, wound through mountains and rice fields, until they reached a village so small it didn't appear on any map. The driver stopped in front of a traditional Hanok guest house. "You stay here," he said, then drove away before she could ask any questions. Nia stood there, alone, in a country where she didn't speak the language, in a village she'd never heard of. And that's when the old woman appeared. She came out of the guest house, took one look at Nia, and dropped to her knees, forehead to the ground, whispering in Korean. Nia's translator app caught fragments. Finally, returned, blessed. Other villagers started to gather, all of them staring, some bowing, others just watching with wide eyes. A younger woman stepped forward. She spoke English. "Please, come inside. Mrs. Song is waiting for you." "Who's Mrs. Song?" "The village elder. She's been expecting you." That word again. Expecting. Nia followed the woman inside. The guest house was beautiful, traditional. Warm wood and paper screens. Tea already prepared. And sitting at a low table was an elderly woman with silver hair and eyes that looked like they'd seen centuries pass. Mrs. Song. She smiled when Nia entered. "Sit," she said in perfect English. "We have much to discuss." Nia sat. Her whole body was trembling. "What's happening to me?" she whispered. Mrs. Song poured tea with steady hands. "You're the 7th. "The 7th what?" "The 7th woman to come here this way, in 300 years. She reached beneath the table and pulled out an old scroll. Unrolled it carefully. Inside were portraits, hand-painted, faded with age. 7 women, different eras, different styles of dress. But all of them had the same look in their eyes, terror. The first was dated 1723, the second 1784, then 1840, then 1923, then 1967, then 1998. The last one was dated 2011, and beneath each portrait was a single word in Korean. Nia's translator app caught it. Lost. "What happened to them?" Nia asked, her voice barely audible. Mrs. Song's expression didn't change. "They went to the mountain, and they never came back." The room felt like it was closing in. "I don't understand. Why me? What does this have to do with me?" Mrs. Song folded her hands. 300 years ago, a spirit fell in love with a human woman. His name was Dae-hyun. He was the guardian of this mountain. Ancient, powerful, neither god nor demon, but something in between. She paused, took a sip of tea. The woman he loved was named Ji-woo. She was a merchant's daughter, beautiful, kind, but she was already promised to another man. Her family had arranged the marriage. Nia's hands gripped the edge of the table. Dae-hyun couldn't accept it. He went to the mountain itself, the source of his power, and made a deal. He would bind their souls. She would be his, not just in this life, but in every life to come. "Reincarnation," Nia whispered. Mrs. Song nodded. But the mountain demanded a price. The bond could only be completed if she chose him freely, consciously. If she refused, her soul would be reborn again and again until she finally accepted. And if she never accepts, then the cycle continues forever. Nia felt like she couldn't breathe. "But there's another condition," Mrs. Song continued, her voice dropping. "If she dies before making a choice, killed by fear, by accident, by trying to escape, the cycle breaks, and her soul is erased, permanently. No rebirth, no afterlife, just nothing. The teacup in Nia's hand was shaking so badly, liquid sloshed over the sides. The first woman, Jiwoo, she ran, tried to escape the village the night before the binding ceremony. She made it to the forest. But the mountain... Mrs. Song's voice trailed off. The mountain doesn't like to be denied. There was a storm. A tree fell. She died instantly. And the others? Each one the same. They come here, drawn by the bond they don't understand, and each one tries to run, and each one... She gestured to the scroll. Lost. The last one, Nia said, pointing to the 2011 portrait. What happened to her? Mrs. Song's jaw tightened. Her name was Sarah, American, like you. She made it the farthest, got all the way to the village road, 2 miles from the highway, from freedom. And rockslide killed her instantly. Nia shot to her feet. This is insane. I'm leaving right now. I'm going back to Seoul, getting on a plane and going home. Mrs. Song didn't try to stop her. Your phone doesn't work here, she said calmly. No signal, and the driver won't come back until the 3 days are up. Then I'll walk. It's 40 miles to the nearest town, through the mountains, and night is falling. Nia grabbed her bag and headed for the door. Mrs. Song's voice stopped her. He won't let you leave. Nia turned. Who? Dae-hyun, the spirit. He's already claimed you. The moment you touch down in Korea, the bond activated. You have 3 days to choose. Stay with him or run and die like the others. That's not a choice. That's a threat. No, Mrs. Song said quietly. It's a curse. Nia walked out into the village. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of red and gold. The mountain loomed in the distance, dark and foreboding. She could feel it watching her. She pulled out her phone. No signal, just like Mrs. Song said. The villagers were still watching her. Not hostile, just waiting, like they'd seen this before. Nia started walking toward the edge of the village. If she could just get to the main road, flag down a car, get away from this place. But with every step, the air grew heavier, thicker, like walking through water. By the time she reached the village boundary, she could barely move. And then she heard it. A voice. His voice. Don't, she spun around. No one was there. Please, don't run. It was coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. I don't want to hurt you, the voice said. I never wanted to hurt any of them. Then let me go, Nia said, her voice shaking. I can't. The bond is already formed. If you leave, the mountain will take you. You're the mountain spirit. Stop it. I'm not the mountain. His voice was filled with pain. I'm bound to it, just like you are now bound to me. I don't control what it does. Nia felt tears burning in her eyes. This isn't fair. No, it's not. The presence faded. The air lightened. Nia could move again, but she didn't, because she knew deep down that running would kill her. She walked back to the guest house. Mrs. Song was waiting. I'll stay, Nia said, for tonight. But I'm not accepting this. I'm not giving up my life for some ancient curse. Mrs. Song nodded. Then we'll see what tomorrow brings. That night, Nia locked herself in her room, pushed a chair against the door, turned on every light. She wasn't going to sleep, wasn't going to give him another chance to invade her dreams. But at 3:17 a.m., she heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, deliberate, stopping right outside her door. The door. Handle turned. She hadn't locked it. There was no lock. The door opened, and there he was. Dae-hyun. No longer a blur, no longer a dream, real, solid, standing in her doorway. He was tall, easily over 6 feet. His white hanbok seemed to glow in the dim light. His dark hair fell past his shoulders, and his eyes, they weren't human. They were too deep, too old. But they were also filled with so much longing it made her chest ache. "Please don't be afraid," he said softly. Nia pressed herself against the wall. "Stay away from me." He didn't move closer, just stood there, like he was afraid that one wrong move would shatter everything. "I know you don't understand," he said. "I know this is terrifying, but I've waited so long." "For what? For me to give up my life, my future, everything I've worked for? For you to remember." "Remember what?" He took a breath. "That you loved me once." Nia's heart was pounding. "I've never met you. Not in this life, but before." He stepped into the room. The temperature dropped. Her breath misted in the air. "You were Jiwoo, the merchant's daughter, and we were going to run away together." "That's not me. Your soul is the same." He raised his hand. The crescent moon scar on his palm seemed to shimmer. "The mountain doesn't lie." Nia looked at her own hand, the scar she'd had since birth. "This is just a coincidence." "Is it?" He moved closer, not threatening, just drawn to her, like a moth to flame. "Is it a coincidence that you've dreamed of me every night for a week? That you bought a ticket to a country you've never been to? That you walked onto a plane with no memory of doing it? That wasn't me. That was, I don't know, mind control, magic." "No." His voice was gentle. "That was your soul, calling out to mine." He was close enough now that she could feel the cold radiating off him. "I didn't ask for this," she whispered. "Neither did I." His eyes were so sad. "I just wanted to be with you. In the beginning, that's all I wanted. But Jiwoo's family wouldn't allow it. So we planned to run away. We were going to leave the village, start a new life." "What happened?" She got scared. His voice cracked. "The night we were supposed to leave, she changed her mind. Said she couldn't abandon her family, couldn't disgrace them. So you cursed her." "No." He shook his head. "I went to the mountain, begged it to give us another chance, to bind our souls so that even if we couldn't be together in this life, we'd find each other in the next. And the mountain agreed. The mountain doesn't give gifts, it makes deals. I traded my freedom for the bond. I'm bound here now, forever. I can't leave, can't die, can't move on. All I can do is wait for you to come back." Nia felt a tear slide down her cheek. "And every time I come back, I die." He flinched like she'd struck him. "I never wanted that. I thought each time you'd remember. You'd choose me, and we could finally be together. But they don't remember. They just feel the pull, and they run. Yes, and you let them die." His jaw clenched. "I don't let them do anything. The mountain takes them. If they try to leave before the 3 days are up, before they make a choice, the bond breaks violently, and I can't stop it. Then break the curse. End this. I can't." He looked away. "Only you can, by choosing." "Choosing what? To stay here? To give up my entire life?" "To be with me." The words hung in the air between them. Nia laughed, but it sounded broken. "You don't even know me. I'm not Jiwoo. I'm Nia. I have a job, friends, a life. You're asking me to throw all of that away for a person I've never met." "I know." His voice was barely a whisper. "And I know it's not fair. But I'm asking anyway." He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, his fingers brushed against her hand. The scars touched. The moment they made contact, images flooded her mind. A girl in a hanbok, laughing as she ran through a field. A young man chasing her, both of them breathless and happy. Stolen moments in the forest. Whispered promises. A love that felt like it could shake the foundations of the world. And then fear. Her family finding out. The arranged marriage. The choice. Stay and honor her family, or run and be free. She chose her family, and he chose the curse. Nia gasped and pulled her hand away. The images vanished. "That wasn't me," she said, but her voice was shaking. "Your soul remembers, even if your mind doesn't. I don't love you." The words should have been easy to say, but they caught in her throat, because somewhere, in some part of her she didn't understand, there was a pull, a recognition, like coming home after a long journey. Daehyun stepped back. "You have 3 days," he said quietly. "I won't force you. I won't manipulate you. The choice is yours. But know this." He met her eyes. "If you run, I can't save you. And if you die, I'll spend eternity alone, waiting for a soul that will never return." And then he was gone. Just gone. Like he'd never been there. Nia collapsed onto the bed, shaking. She didn't sleep for the rest of the night. When morning came, Mrs. Song brought her breakfast. "You saw him," she said. It wasn't a question. Nia nodded. "And?" "He wants me to stay. Will you?" "I don't know." Nia looked at the older woman. "What would you do?" Mrs. Song was quiet for a long moment. "I've lived in this village my entire life. I've seen 6 women come through here. 6 women who were terrified, confused, angry, and every single one of them ran and died. Yes." Mrs. Song poured tea. "But I've also seen Daehyun. For 300 years, he's been alone on that mountain, waiting, hoping. And every time a woman dies, a part of him dies too. That's not my fault. No, it's his. He made this deal, but you're the one paying the price." Nia took a sip of tea. It was bitter. There has to be another way. If there is, no one's found it in 3 centuries. Nia spent the day in the village, walking, thinking, trying to make sense of the impossible. The villagers watched her but didn't approach, like she was already a ghost. She found herself at the edge of the forest, staring up at the mountain. She could feel him up there, watching, waiting, and despite everything, despite the fear and the anger and the unfairness of it all, she wanted to see him again, not because of the curse, but because when he looked at her, he saw something she didn't even know existed, a part of her that had loved him once, a part of her that maybe still did. That night, she didn't lock her door. He came at the same time. 3:17 a.m. This time, she was awake, waiting. "You came back," she said. "I'll always come back." He stood in the doorway, like he was afraid to cross the threshold. "You're all I have. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone." "I know." She studied him, really looked at him. He was beautiful, otherworldly, but there was also something deeply human in his eyes. Loneliness, regret. "Tell me about her," Nia said. "About Jiwoo." He hesitated, then stepped into the room. The cold followed him, but it didn't feel threatening anymore. Just different. "She was kind," he said softly. "She used to bring food to the mountain shrine, offerings for the spirits. I watched her for months before I ever spoke to her." "What made you finally talk to her?" "She was crying. Her father had told her about the arranged marriage. She didn't want it. Didn't want to marry a man she'd never met. So you offered her an escape." "I offered her a choice." He sat down on the floor, keeping distance between them. I told her who I was, what I was, and I told her that if she wanted, she could come with me, live on the mountain, be free. And she said yes. At first, his expression darkened. We planned everything. I built her a house on the mountain, prepared a life for us. And the night we were supposed to run, she didn't show up. She did, but she was crying, said she couldn't do it, couldn't abandon her family. So you cursed her. No, his voice was sharp. I let her go, told her I understood, that I'd always love her, but I'd respect her choice. Nia frowned. Then how did the curse happen? She went back to the village, married the man her father chose, and I thought that was the end of it. He looked away. But 3 months later, she came to the mountain. In the middle of the night, she was broken. Her husband was cruel. Her life was a nightmare, and she begged me to take her away. And you said no. I said it was too late. She'd made her choice. I couldn't undo a marriage made before the gods. His hands clenched into fists. She ran into the forest. I tried to follow her, tried to bring her back, but there was a storm. A tree fell, and He couldn't finish. Nia felt her heart twist. You went to the mountain after that. I was destroying myself, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I was fading. So I went to the mountain and I begged. I told it I'd give anything for another chance, to do things right, to save her. And it took you up on it. It bound us, her soul to mine, forever. But it demanded a price. I had to stay here, bound to the mountain, and she had to choose me, freely, or the cycle would never end. Nia was quiet for a long time. You didn't mean for them to die. No, his voice broke. Every time I hope, I pray. I think maybe this time will be different. Maybe this time she'll remember. But they never do. They just feel the pull, and they're terrified, and they run, and He stopped, took a breath. I'm so tired, Nia. I've been alone for 300 years, and I don't know if I can do this anymore. She looked at him, really looked at him. This wasn't a monster. This was a man who'd made a terrible mistake and had been paying for it ever since. What happens if I choose you? She asked quietly. He met her eyes. You stay. Here. With me. The bond completes. Your soul is bound to the mountain, just like mine. You won't age, won't die, but you can never leave. That's not a life. That's a prison. I know. And if I say no, you can try to leave, but the mountain will stop you, and you'll die, like all the others. So my choices are eternal imprisonment or death. Yes, she laughed bitterly. Some choice. I know, he stood. And I know I have no right to ask this of you. I know it's unfair, but I'm asking anyway. He moved closer, slowly, until he was standing right in front of her. 2 more days, he said softly. Spend them with me. Get to know me. Not as the spirit, not as the curse, just as me. And then make your choice. She should have said no, should have told him to leave, but instead, she heard herself say, okay. His eyes widened. Okay? 2 days, then I decide. For the first time since she'd met him, he smiled, and it was heartbreaking. The next morning, Nia woke to find him sitting outside her door. I didn't want to intrude, he said. You're a mountain spirit. You can literally walk through walls. Yes, but that would be rude. Despite everything, she smiled. They spent the day walking through the forest. He showed her the mountain, not the dark, foreboding place she'd imagined, but something beautiful. Hidden waterfalls, ancient trees, places where the light filtered through the leaves like stained glass. This is where I built the house, he said, pointing to a clearing. for Jiwoo. It's gone now, reclaimed by the forest. But sometimes I still come here and remember. Do you wish things had been different? Every day. They sat by the waterfall. The sound of rushing water filled the silence. Tell me about your life, he said. The one you'd be giving up. It's not exciting. I wake up, go to work, analyze data, come home, watch Netflix, go to bed. Do you have family? My mom. We talk once a week. She worries about me. Friends? A few, mostly from work. Someone you love? She looked at him. No. He seemed relieved, then guilty for being relieved. I'm not saying my life is perfect, Nia said, but it's mine. I worked hard to get where I am, and the idea of just giving it all up. I understand. Do you? She turned to face him. You've been here for 300 years. You don't know what it's like out there. The world has changed. People have changed. And you're asking me to walk away from all of it. I am. He didn't flinch. And I know that makes me selfish, but I'm asking anyway. The second day, he took her to the shrine, the one from her photos, from her dreams. It was small, simple, covered in red ribbons and talismans. This is where the bond was made, he said, where I traded my freedom for a chance to be with you. Inside was a single object, a jade comb. This was hers, he said quietly. Jiwoo's. She left it here the night she ran. I've kept it ever since. Nia reached out, touched it. The moment her fingers made contact, the world shifted. She was no longer Nia. She was Jiwoo, standing in this exact spot, 300 years ago. Daehyun was in front of her, younger, more human, before the curse. I love you, he said. I love you too. Then run away with me. She wanted to. God, she wanted to. But she couldn't. Her family, her duty, her honor. I can't. His face fell. Please. I'm sorry. She turned and ran, and the vision ended. Nia gasped, pulling her hand away from the comb. You saw it, Daehyun said. Yes. That's what she felt, what you felt, the choice between love and duty. Nia's hands were shaking. She chose duty, and it destroyed her. But that's not me. I don't have those same pressures. I'm not betrothed to anyone. My life is my own. Then why does the choice feel just as hard? She didn't have an answer. That night was the last night. Tomorrow, she'd have to decide. Daehyun came to her room one final time. This is it, he said. Tomorrow, you choose. I know. He sat across from her. The cold didn't bother her anymore. If you choose to leave, he said quietly, I want you to know. I won't blame you. I'll understand. And I'll spend the rest of eternity hoping your soul finds peace. And if I stay, he looked at her with such raw hope, it made her chest ache. Then I'll spend every day trying to make you happy. You can't promise that? No, but I can try. She studied his face, memorizing it. What do you want, Daehyun? I want you to choose me. But what if I'm not her? What if my soul is the same, but I'm different? What if you're disappointed? I could never be disappointed. He leaned closer. Because you're not her. You're you. And I've fallen in love with you. Her breath caught. You don't know me. I know you're brave. You didn't run, even though you were terrified. I know you're kind. You listened to my story even when you had no reason to. And I know you're strong because you're still here, still fighting, even when the odds are impossible. That's not love. That's admiration. Then let me love you. His voice was raw. Let me spend the rest of eternity learning everything about you. Your favorite color, your worst fear, the way you laugh when you think no one's listening. And if I can't love you back? Then I'll love you anyway. Nia felt tears building. This isn't fair. No, it's not. I don't want to die. I don't want you to die either. But I don't want to be trapped. He reached out, slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, he took her hand. The scars touched. This time, there were no visions, just warmth. What if, he said quietly, we changed the curse? What do you mean? The mountain bound us, but maybe the terms can be renegotiated. How? I don't know, but tomorrow, before you decide, we'll go to the mountain, together, and we'll ask. And if it says no, then you make your choice, and I'll respect it, whatever it is. She looked at their joined hands. Okay. That night, for the first time since this all started, she slept peacefully. No dreams, no nightmares, just rest. When she woke, Daehyun was waiting outside her door. Ready? He asked. No. But let's do it anyway. They walked up the mountain together. The path was steep, winding through ancient trees and over moss-covered stones. At the summit was a clearing, and in the center, a massive stone, the heart of the mountain. This is where I made the deal, Daehyun said. The stone pulsed with energy. Old, primal. How do we talk to it? We ask, and hope it listens. He placed his hand on the stone. After a moment, Naya did the same. The moment they both made contact, the world fell away. They were no longer on the mountain. They were standing in a void, endless, dark, and in front of them was a presence. Not a person, not a creature, just awareness. Why have you come? The voice was everywhere and nowhere. I want to change the terms, Daehyun said. The deal was made. It cannot be undone. Then modify it. Why should I? Because this curse has caused nothing but suffering. For 300 years, 6 women have died, and I've been alone. This isn't what I asked for. You asked for eternal love. I gave you eternal longing. That's not the same thing. The presence was quiet. Then it spoke again. What would you change? Daehyun looked at Nia. Let her choose. Not between staying or dying, but between staying with me or living her life free. If she chooses to leave, release the bond. Let her go. Let her live. And what will you offer in return? He didn't hesitate. My soul. If she leaves, erase me completely. No rebirth, no afterlife, just nothing. No, Nia said immediately. That's not, it's my choice, he said firmly. I made this mess. I should pay the price, not you. The presence considered this. And you, girl, what do you offer? Nia's mind raced. If I stay, I want the bond to be different. How? I don't want to be trapped. I want to be able to leave the mountain, visit the village, see the world, and I want to age, grow, live a human life, just with him. If you age, you will die. Yes. And when you die, the bond will break. Yes. You would condemn him to watch you die? She looked at Daehyun. Yes, because that's what love is. It's not eternal. It's finite, precious, because it ends. The presence was quiet for a long time. Then the terms are acceptable. The void shattered. They were back on the mountain, both gasping for air. Did that just happen? Nia whispered. Yes. So I can choose. Really choose. Yes. She looked at him. At this man who'd been alone for 300 years, who'd just offered his soul to set her free. And she realized something. She'd already made her choice. I'm staying, she said. His eyes widened. You don't have to. I know. But I'm staying anyway. Why? She smiled. Because in 2 days, you made me feel more alive than I have in years. Because when I'm with you, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And because she took his hand, I think I could fall in love with you if you give me time. I have all the time in the world. No, you don't. I'm going to age. I'm going to die. And you're going to have to let me go. I know, his voice cracked. And I'd rather have you for 50 years than no one for eternity. She pulled him closer. Then let's not waste any time. He cupped her face. His hands were cold, but she didn't mind. Are you sure? I'm terrified, but yes. Then let's go home. They walked down the mountain together, hand in hand. When they reached the village, Mrs. Song was waiting. She took one look at them and smiled. It's done. It's done, Nia said. Then welcome home. The days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Nia learned the language, learned the customs, made a life in the village. Dae-hyun kept his promise. They traveled, they explored, they lived. She aged, grey hair appeared, wrinkles formed. He stayed the same, but he loved her through every change, every season. They had 43 years together. And when she died, surrounded by villagers who'd become family, he held her hand and whispered, "Thank you for choosing me." Her last words were, "I'd choose you again." And when she took her last breath, the bond broke. Not violently, not painfully, gently, like a leaf falling from a tree. Dae-hyun didn't fade. The mountain kept its word. But he was alone again, or so he thought. Because 3 years later, a young woman came to the village. She was studying folklore, researching mountain spirits. And when she walked past him on the trail, she stopped, looked at him, and smiled. "I feel like I know you." He stared at her. Same eyes, same soul, different life. "I'm Dae-hyun," he said carefully. "I'm Nia," she said. The same name, the same soul, reborn, not because of a curse, but because some souls are meant to find each other, again and again, by choice. He smiled. "Would you like to get some tea?" "I'd love to." And somewhere, the mountain smiled too, because curses can be broken. But love is eternal. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that prove love transcends time, space, and even death itself.